We thank you all for joining us this afternoon for one of our financial literacy classes today. We are very excited to be bringing you all lots of great information this week, and we hope that you all can tune in every day, every hour that we're having classes and get some great information. We promise that it's going to be lots of good information that you can use, especially right now during times that seems like it's kind of hard for everybody. There's a lot going on with inflation being the biggest thing that's concerning a lot of consumers. All right. So we wanted to bring in one of our great partners at Harmony CDC, Miss Champella Hatcher. She is just awesome, and you all are going to get lots of great information from us. If you have not heard of Harmony CDC, I suggest that you check them out after this webinar is over, because they have lots of great classes and webinars and things going on too for Financial Literacy Week. And again, this is just what we enjoy doing. We love to educate. And we also learn as we go through this process with you all. We're learning, getting good advice on how to cut back on inflation. So again, I'm gonna let Ms. Champella Hatcher introduce herself and give you a little information and background information about her. So go ahead, Ms. Champella.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Champella Hatcher. I am the coordinator of Financial Pathways. I am the primary financial coach at Harmony CDC. And at Harmony, we are looking to strengthen families and revitalize neighborhoods. And how we do that is we work with the community and our participants to put them on a path to self-sufficiency and confidence. And it can come in the form of career preparedness, counseling, financial literacy and education. We have a food pantry, and we also do financial assistance if you are in need and affected by COVID, in the forms of rent assistance, mortgage assistance, and utility assistance. But my primary program is for financial education and financial literacy. And I also work very closely with our career pathway, because once we put you on a career path, not just a job, but a pathway to be promoted and get raises along the way, we want to make sure that you are maximizing that income that you have coming in.
Yes, definitely. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Aretha Higgins, and I'm the senior counselor with Dallas Habitat for Humanity. And we do a lot of the same work that Harmony CDC does. We educate, we do pre-purchase counseling for home ownership. So we're trying to make sure that you're prepared for home ownership, that you have finances saved up for the costs associated with getting a mortgage. And with this session actually goes hand in hand with that, because any way that you can cut back on things and have that extra money to go toward those housing costs, that's a win. So again, we're very excited to bring this information to you. And I was just reading yesterday, Champella, I was reading and said, according to CNBC, inflation is costing US households nearly $300 more a month. And that can make or break a family. And so again, I think what we're talking about today is so critical. So one of the first questions or conversations that I would like to bring up is, during periods of high inflation like we're experiencing today, how often do you suggest that we should review our budget?
Well, we have to look at budget versus spending plan. Budgets are aspirational. This is how much you envision spending on certain costs that aren't repeat costs every month, meaning your mortgage or your rent would be the same amount every month. Your car note would be the same amount every month. But when we're talking about food, utilities, gas, transportation, and even going out, which, people don't think it fits in the budget, but you do have to have those times where you can have a little fun within reason. So I think you should review your spending plan every time you get paid. Whenever you have income coming in, that's when you plan how you're going to assign those dollars to what needs to be taken care of during that time until you get more income in. So I think it's a lot easier than quote unquote budgeting for a full month,
Mhm.
because after 2 weeks you lose sight of the budget.
Right.
But if you get paid bi-weekly, weekly, some people get paid twice a month, or if you get paid once a month, you have to be really disciplined and tell those dollars where you want them to work for you. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, I can agree with that because you just want to be aware of where all your money is going and give yourself the opportunity to lower another area of your budget, to make the numbers work. So I
absolutely.
certainly agree with that. Very good. Next question. What are some simple ways that we can reduce expenses right off the bat?
Right off the bat. Um, Not popular opinion, but cutting cable. That can tend to reduce a monthly expense of almost $280 a month.
Right.
Right there, if you cut cable, there are so many other options that are less expensive, and you still have access to all of your favorite channels, your movie channels, even your sports channels.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would cut cable. I would review my cell phone plan.
Mhm.
Particularly if you've been with a company for a while, you can let them know that this isn't working for me. Explain to me where these fees came from. Canceling subscriptions. We
Mhm.
subscribe for things and we totally forget about them. And until you're looking, well, where did that $15 go? Where did that
Right.
$20 go? Or if you applied for something annually and you totally forget about it, next thing you know, you have $150 coming out of your account that you weren't expecting. So get a chance to review everything, cancel those subscriptions. There's an app called Truebill that reviews everything for you, and they will automatically cancel things for you that haven't been in use for a while.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's one of the main things. Just looking at needs versus wants, and
Mhm.
seeing, honestly, taking a really hard look as to where money is automatically leaving your account that you're not quite aware of until it happens.
Exactly. Yes, I agree with those answers as well as car insurance. You can cut back
Yes.
there. It's always good every year to comparison shop. My car insurance had actually went up, and the first thing they told me, inflation.
Yeah.
Everybody's going up, but guess what? As a consumer, I'm going to shop around. There's got to be
Absolutely.
somebody that's a little bit lower than you, I would think. So I'm going
Yes.
to try it anyway. So those are,
Absolutely.
that's a good way to go about it too. Always comparison shop, insurance companies, internet companies, all these services that that you need, things that you need. You have options. You can shop around for the best
Yes.
bargain for you and your family.
Absolutely.
Yes. So gas prices, big thing right now.
Big thing.
Yes, gas prices increased 6.6% last month alone.
Oh
Experts
yes.
expect prices to continue to sharply rise, which isn't great news for North Texas because we have to
Hmm.
travel everywhere we go. So with that being said, what are some ways that we can save at the pump?
Um, if you have a car, I would suggest getting an app like Gas Buddy or Gas Guru, finding out where the least expensive gas prices are near you. I also highly suggest memberships to a Sam's or a Costco for multiple reasons, not just for the gas, but also, when we talk about groceries and household items. But yeah, and then you may just want to limit the number of trips that aren't necessary. I know a lot of people that, they go to work, and then after they get off work, they're going to find food. They'll go to the grocery store every day for the meal of the day. Um, Try to cut down those extra trips if you can. And also, if you have someone that lives near you, you could maybe carpool to work. You trade off each week, so it helps save gas for both of you. Or even if you have someone that you can run errands with and you trade off each week, because you may tend to go to the same stores, or you just compromise on what stores you go to during that week. So there are multiple ways. I also, I mean, quite honestly, public transportation is a
Mhm.
big one. If you have access to a DART bus or to the DART rails, it's a great way to travel and cut your gas um, prices down, your gas cut costs down.
Definitely, I agree. So like I said, you just have to be strategic about the use of your car, you know? So
Absolutely.
if you have those errands to run, try to do them in that one trip. And I also
Hmm.
suggest going when you think, when traffic is a little lighter. Like I try to get out early Saturday morning, before everybody else get out and try to get everything done. It's less traffic on the road. So those things, can help you save as
Yeah.
well. And then I saw something come through in the chat about Kroger's. Yes, if you shop at certain grocery stores, like Walmart, Kroger's,
Hmm.
they have their little card and they get the perks on the gas and everything like that. So those are good
Absolutely.
ideas, just
Hmm.
you got to just think outside of the box, and just figure out how can I do this? There are ways that I can save, but you have to be willing to, do the research and find those things.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's honestly not as hard as you think it would be.
mhm,
A lot of people have this perception of the extreme couponers where
mhm.
they spend hours and hours and hours a week. Is really not that hard. If you have a favorite grocery store, find out what the benefits are for shopping at that store.
Yeah.
Um, and it does add up. I'm a Kroger believer. I have been for a long time. So yeah, it does work.
Yeah, Sam's, Costco, all those
Yes.
places. And also cashback reward cards,
Yes.
those are
Hmm.
great too.
They
So just
are.
some things to look into, guys and girls. That's just the way it is right now. We know everybody's trying to cut costs wherever we can. Um, so another area in our budgets where costs have skyrocketed, and everybody can attest to this, is one of the most essential: food. Just
Absolutely.
eating, trying to survive. What advice would you give, attendees today for saving on groceries and food costs?
One of the major things is an old adage. My grandmother would always say, "Don't go shopping hungry. Do not go grocery shopping hungry." That's number one. But also taking advantage of the sales. I know a lot of people look at it as junk mail, but
Yeah.
quite honestly, those sales papers that come in every week, they are your map to saving money on your weekly groceries. Always buy what's on sale. Always buy what's on special. And then meal plan according to what's on sale.
Hmm.
A lot of times people go shopping and at that moment they feel like making the lasagna and doing this and doing that. But 3 days later, you have all the ingredients for it, but you don't want it anymore.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you have to be real intentional, looking at that sales paper, deciding what you're gonna cook, and quite honestly, cook for 2 days.
Hmm.
Leftovers are great. You can have them for lunch.
Exactly.
You can have them for dinner the next day. It always works out better when you do go to the store with a plan.
Yes.
Um, but in that, you also have to look at another effect of inflation. Is called shrinkflation.
Ooh, yeah.
And here's the thing, and I've noticed it particularly like with laundry detergent,
Hmm.
and some produce. Sometimes the way it's packaged, it'll be the same cost, but you're getting less.
Yes.
You're getting a smaller package, and the way they redesign the packaging, you can't really tell until you bring it home and put it next to something that you bought previously,
Hmm.
and then
Yeah.
you notice, that bottle's a little smaller,
Yeah.
or it's fewer fluid ounces
Hmm.
in the container, but the same size. So
Yeah.
you really have to pay attention to those things like that. Um, I always advocate for our participants, utilize our food pantry. Like our food pantry is outstanding. It's not the huge block of cheese and dried milk and just peanut butter. Like we have fresh fruits, fresh vegetables. We have great proteins. We have great dairy products, and it's not just milk. You get the yogurt. you get different types of cheese,
Mhm.
and you get different meats. Some are frozen, some are fresh, and they'll tell you, as soon as you get home, unpack this. But it's a really great box, and it's a great supplement to your grocery shopping. Like, you can take a box and go through it and meal plan according to that, and then just pick up a few extras at the grocery store, which would significantly cut your grocery bill per week.
That's awesome. But I know there's a lot of stigma behind, going to a food pantry. Some people are, you know, have a self-consciousness about going to a food pantry. What if somebody else, what if somebody I know sees me there or something like that? But this is not the time to be
Absolutely.
wondering about what other people think. You do what you have
Absolutely.
to do to survive and to do what's best for you and your family and how you can save and get ahead. So
Mm-hmm.
if that means going to a food pantry, by all means, you go and do what you have to do. Because like you said, there are so many different food pantries out there, and there are some great ones, just like Harmony CDC, where you're getting lots of great groceries that you can make good meals and be able to
Yeah.
take care of your family. And another thing
Mm-hmm.
that you hit on, especially meal planning, a lot of people don't do that, but if you, I guarantee, trust me, you all, if you all do that and plan your meals out for the week, I guarantee you're going to save money. It's something that you got to be disciplined in and stick to during the week, but it keeps you from going, at the end of the day, after a long day of work, of eating out, let me go, I can just go to McDonald's or something and pick up something quick for me and the
Absolutely.
kids. But if you plan something if on Sunday and you fix it, you're going to have that meal already for Monday, or
Yeah.
Tuesday. You can freeze things. You prepare your meals, freeze them, but do whatever it takes to that's going to help you to save money, you know?
Yes.
So great. This is all just such great information, Champella. Um, so when it comes to commodities, things like paper goods, toiletries, shelf stable foods, do you suggest buying in bulk?
I absolutely suggest buying in bulk, but I also suggest comparison shopping.
Okay.
You have to see how much it's going to cost you, say, paper towels. How much a bulk package of paper towels costs you in comparison to in a grocery store or somewhere else per roll. Sometimes when it's on sale in the grocery store, it's a little less than the bulk shoppers, but you really have to take the time to do that comparison and know what you're spending. Um, Quite honestly, I go to Costco. It's great. I love the quality. I don't have to question the quality of anything new or
Mhm.
unheard of. So in the long run, for me, going to get it bulk works out for my household. It's five
Mhm.
people in my household. I go once every 6 weeks
Okay.
for a package of paper towels, a package of bathroom tissue, and just, I think, uh, oatmeal. I'm trying to think, what else do we get? My grandson loves baked beans, so there's always baked beans in the house. Just those
Mhm.
things that I know we're going to use
Right.
on a regular basis, and that's just part of our regular rotation of meal planning.
Hmm.
Every once in
Definitely.
a while we'll do something special, but there are some staples that we have on a pretty regular basis that serves us for multiple days, for multiple meals. So yeah, definitely shopping bulk can absolutely save, and all it takes is, again, a little research. I'm not saying you have to go deep diving for it, but just pay attention to how much you're spending per ounce, per pound,
Hmm.
per item, and you will definitely see the difference.
Yeah, and I agree. Like I said, I think that if especially if you have, if you're feeding several people in your household, and even if
Hmm.
it's just a family size of one, and you have the space, I think that buying in bulk can make a significant difference, to your grocery bottom line. But again, this is only going to work if you're using the products and you're not letting them go to waste. Because again, you
Absolutely.
don't want to throw your money away. So
Hmm.
yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Um, so what are some ways that we can combat inflation other than reducing expenses?
Um, Honestly, you really have to, again, take a strong look at where your dollars are going.
Mhm.
Um, like you mentioned earlier, buying lunch.
Mhm.
You know, if you meal prep and you have your lunch prepped, that saves you anywhere between $80 and $100 a week, quite honestly. And that's just lunch. If you have any gifts, any talents, if you're crafty, there you can always do a side hustle.
Right.
You know, gig economy is huge. You have a lot of
Yeah.
people making money just doing something extra a few hours a week.
Mhm.
My niece decided to make a wreath for Christmas this past year just to see if she could do it.
Mhm.
It came out really well. Her husband posted it on social media. People were asking for wreaths. So she ended up making about 30 of them in that season, and she sold them for $150 each.
Yeah.
They were amazing. So for that purpose, it was something she tried, she was good at. She
Mhm.
made extra money for her household. You have other outlets if you are crafty. You have it's Etsy, you have let's say Facebook Marketplace.
Mhm.
If you're good with resume writing, typing papers and things like that, you have
Right.
freelance sites like Fiverr where you can say, I'll charge this much for this many pages, you know, to type this up, you know, just send me your notes. I'll type the paper up for you. Like people are making a lot of money doing
Yeah.
those things just in their spare time.
Right.
Um, and I always advocate for a website called Rat Race Rebellion. That is quite honestly the ultimate website that I see for side gigs, for freelancers, for people who want to work remotely.
Mhm.
And they're all vetted. I wouldn't advise clicking on the ads. Make sure you click on, you know, something that's been approved and highlighted by them. But it's a
Mhm.
lot of great freelance and side gigs that you can find on there, and it's all determined, particularly because it's freelance, on your schedule. You work when you want to. There's no real requirement for
Yeah.
deadlines or anything. So it is a lot of opportunity out there to make extra money.
Yes.
You even have apps called Gig Walk, where if you're out and about running errands, you can run into, say, a T-Mobile, interact with an employee about a new product, and go home and type up a report, and you get paid $35
Yeah.
while you're already out and about running your errands. So that's plenty of opportunity to find extra money in just everyday life.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head when you talked about skills. Everybody has a certain skill set. Put those
Absolutely.
skills to work for you. Like me, for instance, like I said, my hobby, I love to make my own DIY bath and body products. I make my own homemade body butter,
Mm-hmm.
lotions, homemade soap. I do that stuff, and that's
Yeah,
extra money for me, you know?
absolutely.
So it's you have a skill, you have a hobby. Just think of things that you enjoy, and it's just all about marketing yourself and letting people know that you do these things, and
Yeah,
and your product, what you do, it actually sell itself, but you have to let people know that you have this skill set.
absolutely. And you also have to build boundaries for yourself. Do not allow yourself to get overwhelmed with orders. Like
Yeah.
I told my niece, because she did get overwhelmed, I said set an amount that you want to make and
Yes.
only make that number of wreaths. And that's it. And say
That's it.
limited supply, limited collection, and
Hmm.
close it off at that. And when it's
Yeah.
sold out, it's sold out and you're
That's
done.
it. That's it.
You know, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Especially when you're trying to work a full-time job too, because again,
absolutely.
that gig work, that's a side thing. That's, just to bring some extra money in to help with the cost of inflation and things of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
good. Lots of great information. Um, so are there any tactics that you suggest we avoid during this time?
Absolutely. Do not overextend yourself using credit cards.
Right.
If you don't use them regularly, do not take this time and opportunity to use them more.
Hmm.
If at all possible, stay as liquid as possible. Use your cash
Hmm.
to take care of everything that you need first, and then you have to prioritize some wants. But if at all possible, do not use your credit card more than you actually normally do. You do not want to go into debt in the midst of inflation, because I have to tell you, the Federal Reserve has already said that they plan on raising the interest rate
Mhm.
at least 5 more times this year, and it'll be raised a 1/4% each time.
Yeah.
So we are looking at higher costs for more goods and services. We're also looking at companies cutting back on employees, on
Oh, we lost you. Hopefully she'll come back.
Yeah, I think maybe interconnection.
Yes, but like I said, like she was saying, those things you want to be careful about racking up credit card debt because interest rates are going higher, and that can be, that can hurt you. And another thing that I want everyone to be cognizant of is those buy now, pay later programs. That can eat into your budget as well, especially when you're using, something like Klarna or Affirm, where they're taking something, some amount out of your paycheck every time you get paid. So just be very mindful of those things, because before you know it, you can have several of those, and it's several of those coming out every time you get paid, and that can be very costly, and it can hurt a lot of consumers, those buy now, pay later programs. And another thing that I would also suggest is dipping into your retirement savings. If you can avoid doing that, by all means, do not. That's exactly what it's for your retirement. No one wants to work all their life, so continue. I know times, can be a little hard, but if you can continue to add to your retirement savings, continue to do that. Now is not the time to stop adding to that. And I see that we have Chantella back. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to add on to what you said about dipping into your retirement fund. You are essentially robbing your future,
Yes,
and you don't want to do that. You want to continue to build on your future, because at some point you are going to retire.
exactly.
It's not a matter of if it happens, it's when it happens. And you
Yeah,
do want to make sure that you are living comfortably, that when you retire, you can retire the way you want
right.
and when you want. And again, like, if you enjoy working and being active, that's fine. You could have a little part-time something, you can do your gig work,
Mhm.
to keep income coming in, but you never want to rob your future
Exactly.
ever.
That's it. That's it. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap this one up. Unless we have some questions in the chat. Guys, do you all see any questions in the chat?
We just had one right now about medication. If you take
Ah,
medication on a regular basis, right? What's a great recommendation to shop best
good.
cost, like on Good or RX?
Good.
Save
That's
you some
good.
money.
That's a good one. So true.
That Yeah, that is a really good one. GoodRx, depending on some medications, because I do take medicine. I had a transplant 7 years ago, and so some of my medications are very costly.
Mhm.
You can go to the website of that medications producer or distributor and get coupons directly from that site,
You sure
that
can.
sometimes you may pay $5 for it, you may get it for free.
Mhm.
So always look to see who the main manufacturer is of that medication,
Yes.
and go to the website and apply for it. This may be
Yep.
something you have to apply for monthly, it may be yearly, but it does absolutely help in paying your medication costs.
Yes.
GoodRx is also a great option, but if you can get it for $5 as opposed to $70,
Exactly.
it's always good to check.
Exactly, exactly. Wow, this has been so awesome. Thank you so much. Lots of great information. I hope our audience has enjoyed all the little tidbits that we've given them. And it's always a pleasure to co-host with you, Champella.
Thank
This
you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. And again, just a reminder, I want you all to be sure to join us for our next class this evening, Women and Money, Take Control of Your Financial Freedom. That comes up at 6 p.m. So if you have not registered, be sure to go on and do that next, okay? And we will see you all at 6 o'clock this evening. Thank you all so much for joining. Have a good
All
one.
right.
All
Thank
right.
you. Y'all
Thank
have a
you.
good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.